The point of the article was, with mortgage rates cooling, of course, it went on to say this is a lifeline for many buyers, giving them a touch more room to breathe. Well, um, yeah, I guess you could say that, but we've been at these levels in the past, recent past, and yet there wasn't this belief that buyers were getting a lifeline and that they had room to believe. For example, let me give you an example of that. April 4th of this year, even though we are, celebrating that 4.16 10-year bond yield that we just showed you, April 4th of 2025, the 10-year bond yield was 398, and mortgage rates in similar fashion were better than they are today. April 30th of 2025, the 10-year bond yield was 4.175. Again, about where we're at right now. And yet you didn't really hear all this euphoria that we're now hearing about mortgage rates improving and giving buyers, this lifeline. And just a month ago, August 5th, the 10-year bond yield was just slightly above where it is right now, 4.19. So what's going on here? I think it's more about psychology of the markets and the general public, because now there's a much greater belief, and the futures market is betting on the Fed's going to lower the Fed funds rate by 0.25% this month. That, along with these soft labor numbers, are shifting the focus and changing the sentiments of the market and the general public that rates are finally, falling and giving us, all, and in particular, prospective home buyers, some relief. So yes, that's true, but understand that in recent times we were at these levels or better, and yet we didn't have this optimism as strongly as we have now. So you kind of have to say, well, why the change now? Why is it this time people are grasping onto this, relatively slight good news and embracing it much more than they did in the past? Well, my argument would be that it's really a little bit more now about capitulation by prospective home buyers. We've been at these levels, I've said for months, we've been at these levels for an extended period of time. I've talked about how rates have been generally very stable, low to mid sixes for months. So I think now what's going on is people are finally starting to realize they are where they are, and as a consequence, it may make sense to go ahead and get off the fence and start looking around. So again, it's not a tsunami of a change, but we've had enough of a cooling. I think now people are more willing to embrace that and realize the conditions are such that maybe it's time to get off the fence and go ahead and start looking around. The next bullet point that we would want to talk about is